Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, I'm Siti Nurbaya, and in this video we're gonna learn about how to pronounce the ed endings in past tense. So let's get started. In the English language, most regular verbs are turned to the past tense by adding ed to the end of a base form of the verb. For example, wanted, asked, washed, waited, walked, cooked, and adopted. So, for past tense pronunciation, for the regular verbs, the final ed ending has three different pronunciations, t, d, and ed sound. But before we learn how to pronounce the ed ending, we must first know what voiced consonants and voiceless consonants are. Alright, let's just talk about voiced consonants first. Voiced consonants or sound means that it uses vocal cords and they produce a vibration or humming sound in your throat when they are said. Put your finger on your throat or your neck and then pronounce the letter L. 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 You will notice a slight vibration in your throat or your neck. That is because it is a voice sound. Now let's move to the voiceless sound, or sometimes called an unvoiced sound, is when there is no vibration in your throat and the sound comes from your mouth area. Pronounce the letter P. 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 You will notice how it comes from your mouth, in fact near your lips at the front of your mouth. The sound doesn't come from your throat. Now we know the difference between voiced and voiceless sounds, so we can look at the following rules for the correct pronunciation of ed in English. You may have noticed that in English, past tense verbs with an ed ending are pronounced in three different ways. The first way is the T sound. Final ed pronounced T after all voiceless sounds. Voiceless sounds are P, F, K, S, sh, ch, and the. For example, the verbs popped, froze, kissed, talked, and laughed, reached, and brushed. Alright, the second is the D sound. Final ed pronounced D after voice sounds. Voice sounds are B, V, G, Z, J, D, L, M, and R. For example, the verbs bobbed, backed, breathed, laughed, claimed, benched, breached, bent, rolled, and raised. Alright, now it's the last one, or the third is the ed sound. If the last letter of the word is spelled with D or T, the ed is pronounced as a separate syllable with an ed sound. It rhymes with kid and lead. For example, the verbs visited, edited, ended, and braided. Well, these ed pronunciation rules are particularly important because in English we connect our speech when we have a word that ends in a consonant and is followed by a word that begins with a vowel. In this case, the way you say the verb's ed ending will be heard loudly and clearly. For example, he walked away. He walked away. So we say he walked away. He walked away. Now, did you hear that T in walked clearly? Yes, I guess you do, right? Okay, now let's learn about the H deletion. The same rule of connected speech occurs when H deletion causes us to delete the H sound at the beginning of a word. For example, the sentence, we raised her expectations. we just say we raised their expectations. So we delayed the H in her, then connected the speech raised and became raised there. Alright, so before I end the video, I'm gonna give you a tip for you to easy to remember how to pronounce the ed words. There are two main divisions, absolutely. The first one is the words that end with T or D. The final ed pronounced as a syllable ed. And the rest of the words is pronounced as T. And people will understand. Alright, so in time you will learn how to pronounce the ed as a T or D. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you so much for your attention. Don't forget to give a thumbs up and subscribe and drop a comment down below. Okay, thank you so much. Have a good time and cheerio. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.